So let's get started on our classroom activity. Today we're going to be creating a 3D paper scene. I'm going to base my picture on the William Leech painting, so I'm going to look at the colours and shapes in that. You can do that, or you can base it on an outdoor space you visited recently, a garden or a park, or perhaps your garden at home. So let's get started on the activity, and I look forward to coming back and seeing all the fantastic finished work. I've chosen a selection of coloured papers that are similar to the one in my image. And so the first shape that we're going to work on is this large leaf shape. So I've taken my piece of paper and I'm just going to start sketching out that shape. So I'm going to do some variation on the sizes. So I have a nice selection of sizes here, and these are almost just like large kind of leaf shapes. So I'm just going to show you how to add a little more detail to this. So we're going to start just snipping little tiny triangles. I'm going to start folding some of the shapes now. So we're going to use a very simple folding technique. It's called an accordion fold. So basically you're folding one way and then back the other way. And we're going to do this the full length of the leaf. For our next leaf, we're going to fold it just down the center like so. So we're going to try and match up both edges like that. So it almost has a stem going down the center as it would in real life. So that's just a very simple effect there. We're not going to use the accordion fold on this. We're just going to leave that one like so. And one final idea for our leaf shape is we're going to curl this. Now we need our pencil for this, and we've already cut our shapes out so we don't require our scissors. And we simply start wrapping the shape around our scissors and just try and hold the paper on it like so. Now it doesn't have to be super tight, it's just to give it a little curl. So you can use your two fingers like that. And it's a very simple effect. It looks pretty good. So then when we pull our pencil back, we have like a really nice curled shape. And then we stick that down onto our page. It'll rise up, almost pop up off our page. So that's a really nice effect. Next I want you to take your half sheet of A4 page, and we're going to start folding similar to what we did earlier. What we're left with is, I'm sure you guys have probably made fans before, so it's that kind of a shape. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take some pieces off the edges here. Okay, so we're going to need our scissors for this part. So I'm going to just cut a triangle shape off there and off there. So I'll mark that first with my pencil. I'm going to take my scissors and we'll just cut right through all of the folds. Okay, so you should have something like that. And the last step in the folding, we're just going to simply fold our shape in half. Okay, so we're going to fold it at this point here. So we start with it like so, and we're just going to bend it literally up in the center like that and give it a little squeeze. Now you can leave your shape just like that if that's how you would like it to sit in your final picture. Another option is to just apply a little glue dot in the center, and that will just keep these two parts together. So I'm just going to do that now. So with your glue dots, we're going to peel it off the paper. So that side is sticky and this side still has its paper on. Now for this flower shape, to make it a little different to the previous one, we cut this much off the last time. So we gave our flower a kind of a pointed edge. I've decided this time I'd like to give it maybe a rounded edge. So I'm going to take my pencil and I'm just going to, instead of going straight like we did the last time, I'm just going to give it a rounded shape this time. Here we have our flower shape similar to before, except now we have a nice rounded petal edge, okay? So before when we did this, we found a center point and we folded from both sides in together. But this time we're going to go a little bit further. So I'm going to find a point maybe just 1/3 of the way across the folded paper. So around about there. And I'm going to make a fold at that point instead, okay? So guys, I would suggest maybe make 2 or 3 of these shapes so we have a nice variety then to include in our final picture. So next I'd like to show you how to create these little curled shapes on your page. So I'm taking a strip of paper from my A4 sheet, and as we did earlier on, I am taking my pencil and I'm going to simply start wrapping my strip of paper around my pencils. Okay, and then we slip our pencil out. Well, we should have shaped something like to create several of these. We simply take our scissors and we cut through that shape we've just made. Then when we place them down on the page, they form these really interesting different shapes, and they're not all the same as well. Now I'd like to show you just how to create some fringed paper cuts. So I've just cut a small square of paper from my A4 sheet, and I've just started cutting into it. So I'm cutting strips, but I'm not going right to the edge because I want all the strips to stay together on this sheet. Now you can use that on your picture just as it is, or as we did before, you can take your pencil and you can curl the paper a little bit around at the bottom, so that'll give you a little curled fringe effect. And also you can do some folding as we did earlier as well, and this will give you a little pleated effect on your curl. So that gives lots of movement. So that would work really well even if you wanted to use that for a grass effect along the bottom of your picture. So you could cut a strip long enough to go the complete width of your picture. So I'm starting to place some of my paper pieces down on my A3 page. I've done a very rough sketch just to decide which shapes will go where. I'm then going to place my glue dots down and I'll start attaching my shapes to my A3 page. So I'm laying out some of my shapes now. I've cut out some flat paper pieces as well. I'm going to use these in the background. This will help just fill out the areas behind your cutout shapes. And I'm going to move on to this area now and fill that in. Hope you enjoyed creating your 3D paper scene, and mine was inspired by the shapes and colours in the William Leech painting we looked at earlier. So perhaps you did that one, or maybe you were inspired by a garden or a park you visited recently.